Okay, so we got to go ahead and get into Stephen A. appearing on Gil's Arena, where he was pretty much talking about this whole debacle that happened between him and LeBron. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons why they decided to invite him on to kind of, you know, pick his brain about the whole thing. I noticed how a lot of people started to get on Stephen A's case because he said this, but he didn't say it directly to LeBron when they were in front of each other.
You had called me and said, Bron pissed off. Motherfucker mad as hell. He want to see you man to man. I said, what would I have done? Rich Paul said, you'd have hung up the phone and you'd flew to LA. I said, thank you. So my point is, rather than come up to me at courtside, all you had to do was say, yo, I need you to stay. Don't leave this game. I need you to see you after the game. That's all he had to say to me. Mm-hmm. Then as we speak, he says that, let's take an example, he said what you just said. Yeah. I stand down. My bad. And not only that, I'm gonna make sure I go on the air. I ain't look at it that way. That's on me. You didn't do that shit. You said you fucking with my son. No, I wasn't. I was talking about you. I was talking about you. Wasn't about your son. I know he's number 55. I know he got work to do. Woo. I believe that he got potential. Yeah. I believe that he got the potential to go pro. I truly believe that. It's gonna be tough, but I think he could pull it off. And by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody. But I was talking about your ass. Mm. You did this. Mm-hmm. You the one that had us as reporters, as a league, as an NBA franchise. All of us gotta sit back and be quiet and capitulate to your shit.
Come on now.
You did that. And so when I see people talking, and I'm like, oh my God, can somebody, I mean, I know I got a show, and I know I got my podcast, but I'm like, God damn, y'all, I'm fair. I don't give a fuck who it is. It's you, it's you, it's you. It don't matter who it is. Damn it, I'm just meeting you. If somebody unfair to you, I'm gonna be like, that's not fair. That's not fair. But when it come to me, everybody get crickets. That motherfucker Stephen A. on his own. That, respectfully, excuse my language, that's fucked up. I'm on my own. When number one, we know I'm right. Number two, we know the perspective that I'm coming from is real and it's authentic. Number three, he set this up. Number four, all you had to do was tell me.
Now, see, people was pointing out, wait, you didn't say that to LeBron, but you were going to go to Gil's Arena and say that. But I would want to remind people that this man, Stephen A., had just recently signed a contract extension worth millions of dollars. And you seen how his bosses reacted when he didn't even do nothing. For real. Stephen A. didn't even have a chance to respond back to anything LeBron was saying in real time. As soon as that clip went viral, his bosses said, you got to speak on this, or you are going to speak on this. What do you think would have happened if Stephen A. had sat there and got animated? What do you think if he had been sitting there just even looking like he was being aggressive at LeBron? What do you think would have happened? Nothing? I'll tell you what would have happened. He would have been forced to apologize and possibly suspended for a while. And I would want to ask people, would that be okay for ESPN to do? To suspend him for standing on his square? Me personally, no, but it's part of the game. When you work at a company that's paying you almost $100 million, you got to act a certain way. I don't know who needs to tell y'all, but you have to move a certain way. I may not like it, but it is what it is. It's the law of the jungle. You got to survive. It's no different than when you're working your regular job. You got to take so much BS from so many different people. You got to take BS from management. You got to take BS from coworkers. You got to take BS from customers. What do you think would happen to your sorry ass if you started acting like you were going to get all huffy and puffy towards any one of them? You would be walked out the door. You would never come back. Then how are you going to pay your bills? Bills got to get paid somehow. So while y'all may sit there and say, oh, LeBron, he punked out Stephen A. Stephen A. didn't say nothing because LeBron was sitting there acting like a Karen, doing what a Karen would do, hide behind cops or hide behind the NBA or the badge of the NBA. And let me explain what I mean when I say that. You know how Karens, as soon as the cops roll up, They gonna start acting all high and mighty, huffy and puffy like they Billy Badass and say, oh, you ain't gonna do nothing now because I got Johnny Law right here beside me. It's the same shit LeBron did. LeBron antagonized Stephen A because he knew he wasn't gonna do anything. The moment Stephen A would have even flinched the wrong way, he would have been suspended or worse. And that's the facts. And I would pose this question to anybody watching this. You mean to tell me that if you get paid $100 million by a company and you can say, oh, well, I'm not on company's time, you still have to act accordingly wherever you go. Even if you go to a McDonald's, you have to act a certain way. People may recognize you. People may know who you are. They'll be quick to take their phones out and put that shit on the internet. Then what? You got some shit to answer to when you go to work tomorrow, even though, okay, you wasn't on company's time, but they're paying you an X amount of dollars to act accordingly. And even though would we view Stephen A standing on his square as aggressive enough to consider to take action like suspension or forcing an apology out of him? No. But to the suits up at the high castle, anything that even views as slightly towards as aggressive to LeBron James is punishable to them. Because I promise you, if that had been anybody else, that person would have been ridiculed off the fucking court. If it wasn't LeBron confronting him, but if it was some B-rate bench warmer, you think that anybody would have gave a fuck? You think that they would have been on his side or Stephen A? They would have been automatically on Stephen A's side by default because of the bench warmer. And to the lot of y'all that think you would just throw that away, throw that job away that's paying you $100 million, if not more, or somewhere in that ballpark, you're really somebody who shouldn't be in the realm of doing business. And you would be viewed as somebody who obviously don't care about maintaining your current spot. But here's the thing. I would bet you my bottom dollar, if Stephen A was not working for ESPN, that would have went totally different. But yeah, all in all, I just look at this as something that I could really understand where Stephen A is coming from, and something I probably would do if I was getting paid that much money. It would be no different than if you was invited out to an NFL game by either one of the players on the field or by the league themselves or by ESPN themselves. When you're there, you have to act accordingly, or else they're not going to invite you anymore. They're not going to do business with you no more. If you came out of a suite talking up business with one of those people and they see you on the field damn near squabbling or get into an argument and all they see is your head bobbling at the right in an aggressive manner, then they're going to just call you up and just throw that whole deal y'all just had and inked out in the fucking garbage. But with that being said, y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.